And
We are
and
live.
oh, we're live.
Yes, we
Welcome everyone to another Facebook Live with Dr. Nelva Bryant. We are excited to be in our second episode in 2024. I am Greta Russo, your host, and this is Dr. Nelva Bryant. Dr.
Hello,
Bryant, why don't
everyone.
you tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Nelva Bryant. I am a veterinarian. I am working in the airline industry. Very pleased to do so. I feel that my impact as far as working in the airline industry, and yes, I do work for Delta Airlines. Um, I believe my impact is more to assist and also bring to light more as far as animal transportation regulations. It's not as simple. Folks like to think that when they're traveling with an animal, and it could be a pet or it could be a zoo animal, that you just bring the animal to the airline and the airline is supposed to accept it and take it, move it forward. But just realize there's a lot of responsibilities that you have as a shipper. Making sure they're in a container that complies with IATA, which is International Air Transportation Association regulations. They also comply with USDA animal welfare regulations. So there's a lot of things you need to do as a shipper to make sure your animals get to the destination safely. You can't just put it on the airline to make it happen. There's work that you have to do. So what Greta and I have done over these past almost 2 years now, well, no, year and a half, we have developed a system where we share this information through our website, When Pets Fly. It's at www.whenpets.com, and through our Facebook, Instagram, and now we've added on to LinkedIn. But we share information to help animal shippers get prepared for transporting their animals.
Yeah, and there's so many. We like the more we've done this, and the more we've talked to people. I couldn't believe how much stuff actually is a touch point in pet transportation, whether it's our beloved pets, or I should say animal transportation, and whether it's our beloved pets or it's zoo animals or it's, any type of animal being transported, all of it needs to be discussed because really, as our guest said to us earlier, this whole area is like the wild, wild west. And there are some rules and regulations out there, like you had mentioned IPATA once or twice in several of our episodes, and a few other organizations. Last year we brought them on here to talk, but we have to continue to educate everyone because on the most part, people don't realize that there are governing bodies, there are rules and regulations, there is paperwork that has to be done. And, for us, what's most important is that safety and well-being of any animal in their transport. And, that starts with, managing their anxiety and making sure everybody's calm.
And making sure you're calm too in the process too, because I think a lot of times the stress that we have, our animals pick up on it. So we have to be calm as well.
Yes, absolutely. And then, not to mention, well, you did mention crates is so important from the quality of the crate to the size of the crate to just so many different things. So I know it's important to us that we bring people on here to talk about, proper measurements and the quality of the actual crate, because you don't want them to break out or the crate to break apart. Let's see. And then, of course, making sure that everyone knows you need your proper documentation. And that's not just pet parents, that's shippers, that's everyone involved with animals. And, just to point out real quick, I guess a shameless plug for you, Dr. Nelva Bryant is an accredited veterinarian in Georgia. So if anybody needs an accredited veterinarian to help them out with their paperwork, please reach out to Dr. Bryant so that she can assist you in that. But we are going to have an amazing conversation today because how many times have we, I know I've been asked a lot about CBD and all that other stuff. And it's like, number one, I don't partake at all in anything. So I really don't know. And then, so I haven't given it to my cats. although I probably should have in some occasions. But and I don't like Dr. Google. So I love that we have somebody on here that is fully educated, that we can ask questions and really get answers from someone who's an expert.
Definitely. I think this is going to be a great episode because, again, main thing we're talking about CBD, but we're
Yeah.
also talking about an alternative for sedation for animals being transported. And this could be by in cabin or going by cargo. Sedation, of course, when they say by cargo, most airlines will definitely tell you it's not allowed. But I still think it should be, I mean, it's at your discretion if you want to sedate your pet while it's in cabin. But there's a reason why you don't want to sedate them. And it's not, it impacts them, their respiratory system, their cardiovascular system. If you have a pet with an underlying condition, you give them a sedative, you are putting them in a really bad bind, a bad condition because their health and their systems are now compromised. So,
Right.
And the reason why, as far as by cargo, they don't allow it is because they're compromised and there's no one to assist them if they need help because they're in a cargo hold. Now,
Yeah.
if it's in cabin, most pet owners, I hate to say it, most pet owners, you wouldn't know what to do. So best
Yeah.
thing to do is don't do it at all. Find another alternative instead of sedation for your pet if you're worried about them being anxious or anything like that. So I'm glad we're bringing this topic up today.
Yeah, absolutely. And besides traveling, I'm wondering, take how some of my questions are with this. How, like, what are the parameters of taking it at home? Like,
Mm-hmm.
is there anything you need to watch for? What are the side effects? And I almost wonder, should you test drive the CBD before you even get in the plane? So
That is highly recommended because, again, you don't know the impact it's going to have on the animal, and you don't want to be in a situation where they're in a crisis. Who knows? What if an animal has an allergic reaction to something? I mean,
yeah,
it's better to be on land near your veterinary hospital or your veterinarian instead of in the air. And they don't do over the intercom and say, "Is there a veterinarian on board?" I've never heard that yet. So, you have to be aware that you're in air. There may not be anyone to assist you if you give your pet any medication, to be honest with you, but even the CBD. Try it earlier before your flight, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. And I gotta say, I'm very curious because so I don't do drugs, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I went to college and there was a lot of my friends who did weed. And so, of course, I was around them, but I didn't partake in it. I was actually on the blunt rolling line. So I got to put the honey in it. But anyway,
Uh-huh.
so
I didn't even know
when
you
the
did that.
dog,
Oh
well,
my
my
God.
one friend did. He made
Uh-huh.
honey flavored blunts. It was
Wow.
actually quite the rage. But anyway, so I remember at the frat house there was a dog there, and they would blow the smoke in the dog's face, and it was a big joke of how the dog got high and everything. So I'm wondering, number one, was that even safe? But number two, is it the same thing? Is it the same effect that they're getting? Because this is my only relationship to like CBD. I guess it's CBD, or is it not CBD? I don't know.
Yeah.
But,
So
but have,
to add on to your topic, I was just discussing with some coworkers yesterday. We were discussing someone that just traveled to Jamaica and how they felt that everywhere they went, everyone was smoking weed, and he was shocked. And I was, sharing, saying, hey, you know what? I've never smoked weed, and I have never done it, and I've just always been afraid to. I mean, of course, I've smelled it, but I actually, to be honest with you, I don't even. It's just a weird odor to me. But either way,
yeah,
I was saying that I never had it, but I did try CBD once. I went to this CBD store, and the owner was, I think he was Jamaican. I was saying I need help sleeping, so he said, "Yeah, try these gummies," and I took one, and I felt like I was in a daze. I was just like, I don't know if I like this feeling. It's kind of weird. So I guess it's a whatever the active ingredient is. I don't know, TC. I forget the name of it. But either way, we're gonna have a good lesson with it today from Laura. So I'm really excited. But yeah, I don't think it's. You got to be careful with pets because you've seen a lot of these memes or TikToks. They show these dogs that potentially got into someone's weed and the dog is wobbling all around. may look cute, but you don't know what's going on internally with them.
Yeah.
It can be a medical crisis for them. So you don't want that to routinely and be okay with that kind of thing. So this is going to be a great lesson today, honestly.
Absolutely. I'm curious. So I can't wait to start talking to her. So I want to welcome, well, we know we go live on Facebook, but I do want to welcome our people who are coming in from LinkedIn. So this is our second day on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So hello.
Yeah, this is awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. So I hope they all enjoy this again. So let's bring in Laura. Let's see. I'm pushing the button. There we go.
Hi, Laura. Hey there.
I was getting a kick about your conversation when I was about the college days. And
I know.
Yeah.
The honey line. I've never heard that. Okay, that's new for me. But yeah.
It's yes, thank God social media wasn't around.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. Well, welcome, Laura. Guess what, everybody? This is what we got. Let's welcome Laura. Hold on.
Excellent.
We finally did it. It's taken us 2 years to get our applause because we always did hand claps.
I love it. Well, I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes. Well, let me tell everyone a little bit about Laura and the Green Compass Global. So Laura, is it Seepco?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Laura Seepco is a master director at Green Compass Global. She advocates and educates about the power of CBD and hemp wellness for overall health and wellness for people and their pets. Coming from almost 20 years of experience in the pharmaceutical industry, she understands the importance of education. Her passion is to open the door to conversations about the benefits of hemp and educates about how hemp works, how it helps, and the key criteria consumers and healthcare wellness providers should understand prior to using any hemp CBD product. Green Compass Global is a Wilmington, North Carolina-based hemp wellness company founded by a family committed to sharing the restoring hope of clean, organic hemp. The journey began when their quest for healing through traditional medicine became too exhaustive, and our founders sought out an all-natural, holistic approach to healing. Their search led them to the ancient plant cannabis sativa, long known for its medicinal properties. This remarkable plant has been cultivated for centuries, and its rich CBD offer 100% natural medicinal relief. Everyone, please help us welcome Laura Seepco.
You got it.
Wonderful. Glad to have you.
We had to do the claps twice. Welcome, Laura.
Thank you.
So we made you laugh with our little commentary. Yeah, we need a lot of education on this aspect of it. I'm looking forward to it because I mean, it's new. I mean, you see CBD shops jumping up all over the place. You see in the veterinary industry a lot of products that are on the market that say CBD, and it's like, how do you know it's good stuff for them? And is it good? Is it okay for them to have it and all that? So I'm looking forward to our discussion today.
And truth be told, everybody equates CBD to weed. Mm-hmm. So I think if we start with educating people, is it or is it not? I think that will go a very long way because I want to assume everybody who's going to watch this or is watching this is not a pro like you are. As far as an educator. So
I consider myself an educator, not a pro, right? We're always growing and learning.
Right.
But I felt the same way most of the people did out there. when I was introduced to CBD, I was like, no, thank you. I can find that at a gas station. I am good. And then because of, my pharma background, and I've always been into health and wellness personally for myself, I decided, okay, I'll take a peek and try to understand this a little bit more. And then my eyes were open wide about what the plant could do. And I understood all these things that we're talking about, right? So then when I realized that there's all this stuff out there and education needs to happen, I was like, I'm in. Let me do this. This is really fun for me. But let's start, like you said, let's start. What is the difference here, right? Because my kids even said to me, "Mom, you're selling weed." No,
my mom's a drug dealer.
A professional drug dealer.
Right. Yeah, that's what they say. And my son, he's with me, and his friends love to talk to me about this stuff because I'll tell them the stories. But here's what you need to think about is CBD comes from hemp, not marijuana. So you have this family of plants called cannabis, okay? And so the hemp plant and the marijuana plant, they both are in that family of cannabis. So when people talk about cannabis, it might not be marijuana, it might be hemp. So they look the same, they smell the same, but they don't act the same. So marijuana is the high in THC. If you take that plant and you pull all the stuff out of it, you're going to get mostly THC. That's where people are going to get high and have all those psychoactive effects, right? The hemp plant is abundant in CBD and all other cannabinoids, and there's only trace amounts of THC in it. And so actually to be for a crop now in the United States in 2018, okay, hemp was deemed to be grown legally in the United States. Way back when we had the war on drugs, hemp was lumped in with marijuana. So it wasn't allowed to be grown. So finally, after a lot of advocacy in 2018, federally, they said you can grow hemp to create plant wellness products throughout all the United States, but it has to have 0.3% THC or less to be a legal crop. And if it's not, they have to burn it. Basically, they can't use that if it's legal, if they're regulated and if the crop's looked at. So that's the difference between the two. So a lot of people will get confused about what is it. So to be legal, to not get high, it's hemp. So CBD comes from the hemp plant. Does that help?
Yes, that I never even knew. So I can see how people get confused because they look just alike, like you said. But now I know the difference because you drive into Atlanta, it doesn't matter if your windows are closed. I don't know what they are smoking in their houses, but I can smell it in my car. So I'm like, what in the world? So, no wonder everybody loves to come visit Atlanta, but it just has the weirdest smell. But anyway, go on. I'm sorry. I digress.
Oh, no. So that's really kind of the difference between the plants, right? And when it became legal, that's where you started seeing it everywhere, right? Mm-hmm. So that's where a lot of investors got involved. A lot of companies got involved because, so wow, we see this plant, it's now legal, and we see it can help people. So is it okay if I kind of jump over to how it works in the body? Because that's fun. Okay, because that explains like how the explosion in the market happens. So you have the legalization, right? And then you have the discovery of the endocannabinoid system in your body. And that's for all mammals. So that's why we're talking. So our dogs have this same system. Our cats have the same system. Anything with a spine has this same system. Yeah. So in the 1990s, researchers discovered at NIH and IMH, they discovered they call it the ECS, the endocannabinoid system. And that spans through your 11 major organ systems. And they're little receptors, they're CBD receptors all over your body in that system. And so if you think about your body like a Christmas tree, we have all these lights. These receptors are little lights. And so what happens as we face environmental things in our lives, as we face things in our life that stress us, then those lights slowly dim. right? And what happens is we need to go and kind of replace those light bulbs in our Christmas tree, if you have a Christmas tree, to make it all light up again. So what happens is your body is actually making, we have natural cannabinoids. Our body makes cannabinoids. This is what's fascinating to me. And so as those lights are flickering off, the creation of those is getting depleted. So we need to introduce those into our body to interact with those receptors on our endocannabinoid system. So so think about it. We were created, I truly believe we were created to live off the earth. Okay, plants of the earth. And this plant was created to have properties in it to come and help our body operate and be in balance as it should be. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And so when it's out of balance, that's when we're having things like, our body isn't able to handle things as much as maybe it's our anxious feelings, our pain, our mobility, our inflammation. So that's when CBD comes in. It's a powerful neuroprotectant. It's a powerful anti-inflammatory, and it works within all of those systems in our body. So you'll hear people say, gosh, CBD really helped, my dog, she was more mobile as she got older. Oh, well, my dog with anxiety, or it helped me personally sleep. So I used to think, how is that possible? Like, how does this one thing help so many people? It's because we all have this system, and it comes in and it plugs in our system where we need it to plug in, or where our sweet little animal. And I have 2 dogs. I had 3 dogs. Brett, I lost one recently. So I'm a huge component of helping our animals feel comfortable. So that's really, in a nutshell, in a high level view of how that works in your body. So with these discoveries, CBD has been used medicinally for thousands and thousands of years. But again, the war on drugs, it kind of got pushed aside. So you have the legalization of hemp. Then you have the discovery and the continued research of how CBD is helping our body. There's this market explosion, right? So now there's access. And so that's a wonderful thing, because we can have plants help us in a natural way. They have a great place in our care. But there's the other challenge is that it's not regulated.
Right.
There's a lot of people playing in this field, and there's a lot of confusion, because it's, what do I use? How does it work? How do I know what's good? And so I think that's one of the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing.
I love it. Going back and
how can you tell the good stuff from maybe, I don't want to say fake, but maybe something with what has good quality, what has less than good quality, or how do you know somebody is calling it CBD and it has nothing in it?
Right. Are you okay if I kind of walk through the criteria that I like to share?
Please. You're going to be taking most of this conversation, because we're here to learn. So take it.
Okay, so what you'll find, and there's research by the FDA, and then there's also research that I pulled from, it's called the Center for Advancing Health, and that's a group of board certified physicians, nurses, nutritionists, a huge group of people, and they fact check everything. And you will find that the majority of CBD in the market is not tested for purity, and it's not what they say is in the bottle is not in the bottle. So there's a lot of research around that. So how do you know, right? So great question, Greta. So there's kind of a criteria that all consumers need to look for. And I always tell everyone, whether you use Green Compass Global CBD or you use, Susie Q's CBD down the street, this is what you need to know is, first of all, the most important thing is it all starts with the soil. So where is the hemp grown? And I actually have a graphic that I can email you all that has these buckets in it. But it starts with the soil. And why is that? A couple of reasons. Hemp is a scavenger plant. It is used to clean soil. It is used to clean air in many countries. And one challenge that we have is a lot of white labeled CBD, meaning that like a company will just buy it and they'll bottle it and they'll use their own label. That comes from hemp that comes from other countries that's used to clean their soil. So if your hemp is not grown on that clean soil, you better believe it might have any sort of heavy metals, pesticides, herbicides, any toxins that are in that soil So that's a huge thing. The other thing that you would really want is not just organically grown. You really want to look for USDA certified organically grown. And the reason why that is if it's not, I mean, there's several years that runoff from other farms next to that hemp farm, or there could still be traces of or pesticides and herbicides from soil maybe just a couple years ago. The USDA labeling, that's going to confirm that it's been several years since they've had any junk, I should say, in the soil. So that's really important because hemp's going to suck up whatever's in there, and then that's going to be in your CBD. So that's like the first thing. So we always say it starts with the soil. The next thing is when you look at where it's pulled from. Okay, they can extract. So they extract the CBD from the plant, right? So where they extract it, you'll see bottles that will say from the whole plant. You know, actually, the flower is the most abundant part. So it's the richest CBD. So really, if it comes from just the flower, that's better because you don't have any negligible parts from the stalks and the stems. So you want to look for that. The other thing is a certificate of analysis. This is really important because that, and Greta, you had mentioned this, you know, how do I know what's in it? Do I know how much is in it? Well, that's going to prove what's in the bottle. So it's kind of like the ingredients list, right? So for example, ours, if you can see, it has a QR code, so you can scan it and you can, and a lot of companies are coming out with that. So you can scan it and you can see the lab report. But what you really need to look at is the date on that lab report. So make sure that if you're shopping on a website that there are current lab reports loaded in there. Because sometimes, I mean, and there are a lot of great companies out there, but there's also like, we have to protect ourselves as consumers, right? So there are companies out there that will put the best looking lab report on their website. So you just have to do your research. And so that's another key thing to have as well. So if you're looking at criteria, those are really, I could go into a couple more things, but as a consumer, those are the key things that you need to make sure that you look at to make sure that it's quality. Because like I said, most of the stuff out there is not labeled correctly.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, we definitely have to share, any information that you have. We'll definitely put out there in social media as soon as, we're done with our live here.
Yeah.
But that was great.
I have a thought after you were just sharing as far as the system, I'm not even going to say it because I'm going to say it wrong, but ECS system basically that we all have internally. How does it know where to go and what you need? Like someone could say, I take CBD for anxiety. I take CBD for, as you said, mobility issues. How does it know where to go? It just knows?
That's the miracle of our body. I mean, seriously. I can't answer that because I don't really know. I mean, it's just kind of how it prioritizes.
Then also it makes me wonder too, because I've seen CBD marketed for mobility issues. I've seen it for anxiety. So technically, there's no specific dose for that area that you want to cover. It's just CBD.
Yeah. So here's what's kind of interesting is that you have like CBD will go in your body and prioritize. I'm going to cover a couple things. I'm going to get to that, but I just want to show this. So like you might say like, okay, well, I really can't sleep, but it might be you're anxious. So CBD might calm you first because your body needs that. And then you start sleeping better. Right. It's really fascinating. So whenever I work with people, they're able to give me feedback. The dogs can't give me that feedback, but with people, we kind of track that.
Right.
Okay. So there's the other thing. So there are other cannabinoids within the hemp plant. Okay. So CBD is the most abundant one. All right. So that's the one that like, if you look at hemp, it's like, bam, there's all the CBD in it. There are other cannabinoids that can be tapped into that hit other receptors or do a little bit more, that if that CBD says, oh, this is actually for sleep, right? That CBD might have a little bit more of CBN in it as well, because CBN comes from the hemp plant, and has kind of sedative properties.
Mm-hmm.
Or they might add something like lavender or other things, other essential oils that target sleep. Like, for example, our company, like we pretty much straight up CBD, but then we have gummies with CBN, right, for sleep gummies. But then we also have terpene boosters, which terpenes are the essential oils of plants. And so there's no CBD in it, but it's just stuff pulled from the hemp plant. And we have one that's focused on sleep. We have one that's focused on food, one that's focused on immunity. So if you feel you need a little boost, you can add those things. So that's what oftentimes they'll do with CBD. But I always recommend for people, pets, we just have one thing, but for people is always just start with CBD, plain up CBD. That's maybe all you need. And then you go from there. But we're here to talk about dogs, so I don't want to get.
We're here to talk about dogs. We definitely need.
Yes.
And look, I'm just fascinated for in general. So I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, we're talking about dogs and cats.
No, but you know what? Our dogs have that's what's so magnificent is they have the same system we have.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it.
Problem is, like you said earlier, they can't communicate things to you. I'll admit, I've had some folks send me products that's supposed to be calming for pets. I imagine, no. They use a lot of taurine in those, the ones that I've seen. But there's been other folks that maybe have given me CBD stuff to try for my dog. And I said, I don't know if it works because my dog is really laid back and she's not going to, she's already laid back. How am I going to know it's going to work in her? So it all depends on your pet, I guess, if they have anxiety for you to see a response. But as you said, they're not going to sit there and tell us, oh, yeah, look, I feel a whole lot better now. So they're not going to communicate that information to you.
No, they're not. Absolutely. And there's different ways or different reasons that you want to use it, right? Like you said, like your dog's really laid back. So I had three. Like I said, I had three. I have two dogs, but I use it for different reasons for them, right? Like one of my dogs is very anxious. Her name's Mabel. Isn't that a cute name? But she's really nervous. So for her, I try to just get her not to be nervous. So it helps her that way. The other one, she's a Looney Tune. She's always running around. For her, it's a different type of calming. But really, one of the reasons I like to use it for my dogs is just overall wellness because it's a powerful anti-inflammatory.
Yeah, I'm gonna think about it.
So it's just a great thing for them for overall health and for their longevity because they're 9 years old. So I want to make sure that I keep them healthy that way. Right now, they don't have any health issues. But some of the big buckets that people use it for are primarily is mobility, anxiety, and anxious feelings. And, some of the research says sleep. I don't get that much personally, but some of the data that's been pulled said a lot of owners use it for sleep. But personally, I haven't had a lot of people come to me for that. Another thing is just for cognitively, for them to keep their brain sharp as well.
You know what? I was just thinking of the condition that happens in some dogs when they actually kind of get a dissociative. They almost, I can't really say it's like a Parkinson's, but they actually decline as they age. And I wonder if it's something like that could be used in them to kind of help them and ease the things because it's a condition where they decline. All the things they learned as a puppy, house training, all of a sudden everything reverts, unfortunately, with them. But I wonder if something like this could at least help them in some form or fashion.
Know the process. Almost
slow the process, or maybe help fulfill what's lacking, so we don't go there. But there is a condition
we have seen, and we'll have to invite if you want to kind of share the link to our group that we have that people post testimonials because we have like videos of dogs, and we have seen a lot of dogs really improve that are a little bit older, just by putting this into their body. So, it's been a help for a lot of dogs beyond just, with fireworks or anxious feelings, but a lot for aging as well.
Are those videos on your website?
Not on my website, but I'll get access to a couple that I can send you. And then I'll send you all kind of the link to the testimonial group and people can just we can put any people in there that want to be in there as well.
Yeah.
But we'll
Yeah,
get
we
some.
can share it on Facebook.
Yeah.
If you want to tag us or some way, that might be the easiest.
Yeah. That's good.
Send it to us on Facebook. We actually have a viewer who submitted see if it's going to come up.
Yep.
She submitted this, and I wanted to, I guess not everybody or every animal will react to the stuff the same way, but I just wanted to address this just in case maybe there's a suggestion you can give.
Absolutely.
It's a good question. It's a good question. Before you start, if you don't mind, Laura, it's a great question. But again, we don't know, as you said earlier, you don't know exactly how it was processed as far as getting the CBD oil. You don't know if it's a nice pure, or you don't know anything about it. So I could imagine that it could have a different impact on the animals, and I'm sure it's individual and people too. But if it's not, as you said, USDA certified, if it's not in a soil that's definitely clean and no potential toxins or preservatives, whatever in there, I guess you could get a CBD that could be tainted in a sense. So the impact of it could vary in the animal.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, that's a great point, because that leads into, just like as a clinician, right? You're always thinking of asking the questions, right? So where is it from, or what was the dose given, or did it have THC? I had someone asking me about people using people THC as well. People CBD. Like, you really don't want to give your own CBD to your dog if you don't have to, and for a couple reasons. Is the carrier oil. Sometimes the carrier oils bother their tummy, and that could make them anxious. So it depends on that carrier oil. Like, we use a hemp oil for the carrier oil for dogs, and coconut oil for people, because the coconut oil can bother their tummies. So I think that it really and I think the other thing is the dosing. How much are you giving them? And there isn't. I mean, all the research says you can't overdose on CBD, but if you give them a whole bunch, they could get nauseous. They could get tired. They might have some diarrhea. But to your point, Dr. Ryan, there's a lot of questions to ask about where that dog is if they're starting to feel anxious or wide awake. Now, for me personally, as a person, I use my CBD in the morning, because sometimes if I use it in the evening, it keeps me up. But that's probably that little trace amount of THC that's in it that would keep me up a little bit. Most people, it doesn't. Most people, they like to take it at night because it helps them sleep. So everybody's body is different. So you just have to kind of work with your animal and your pet, and making sure that you have some clean product as well.
Let me ask you this. Since Ms. Riddle is pointing out that this is happening with little dogs, could it be that little dogs might not be able to take CBD at maybe what the normal dose is? Maybe they got to do less, or maybe it's got to be altered, because I would imagine everybody, when they say little dogs, I'm imagining an extra small animal, the ones you stick in a purse, in a bag or something, throw it over your shoulder. So I would imagine they can't take in the same level that you would give a medium or a big dog.
Absolutely.
So could that be a part of why this is happening?
That definitely could be, because you really have to look at the size of the dog. You have to look at their diet, what their physical activity is. But definitely we suggest different doses for different size dogs. So that's a really important thing. That sometimes people will get a bottle and they think, oh, well, I'll just fill up the dropper and
pour the whole bottle.
Well, that's way too much. That's way too much for a little dog. So yeah, that's a very great point as well. So there's a lot of factors.
Are you able to show what you recommend for a little dog?
So
Like you just pulled out the dropper
oh yeah,
and you said,
yeah, like a little dog, gosh, depending on the size of the little dog, right? But if it's a
Right.
little dog, like literally, I would start. You see, I don't know if you can see that. I would start like
yeah,
that for a day,
okay,
you know,
okay,
and about there's a whole formula that we can kind of post or share for different sizes of dogs if you'd like. But they just recommend between 1 to 5 milligrams per 10 pounds of body weight, and then I translate that into what that looks like in a dropper. But for like a big, like a 50-pound dog, you might do like a half a dropper twice a day. You know what I mean? So it varies depending on the size, but we can share that as well.
okay, that would be great. And I would imagine maybe like these, so not all companies market the same way. Not all companies probably don't even teach about their product. So, there's probably some human error in there some way because, number one, if all those dogs are having a reverse action, there has to be something that everybody's doing wrong. So I would think number one, they are not giving the right dosage for that size dog. And then number two, not that it's the pet parent's fault at all, because how are you supposed to know? But the company should be, just like you did, showing, whether it be by pictures, this is how much you give, that sort of thing, because everything needs education. It doesn't matter what the product or service is, everything needs education, or we have to guess at it. And pet parents really want to know, they want to learn because they want to do better for their pets. So that's why I think this is so important. And thank you so much again for coming on here.
Oh, absolutely. And I think like this is something that you're putting in your pet's body to help them live better. So, it's not like I'm going to it's not like taking 2 Advil or 1 Advil and call me in the morning. That's not how it is with, putting these oils in your pet's body. So that's one of the things that I love to do. That's my passion, is coaching and walking alongside people to help them to do that trial and error if that's needed. And if you buy it from, the gas station, you're not going to have that connection with someone to help you do that. So that's really one of the things that all the people at my company were very passionate about doing.
Well, I love that you're here sharing this more, just really giving us an education about it. Because again, just as you said, there's so many places now you can purchase your CBD oils, and a pet parent might think that, hey, the same thing I take for me is okay for my dog. And then they might think, well, it's sometimes they think if this works, a little bit more wouldn't hurt, but you can overdose. You can be it's at a level that they shouldn't have. But in their mind, they weren't trying to do that. They just figured if it works a little bit more, it would be fine. Being that it's over the counter, or not saying, well, yeah, it's technically over the counter, you can purchase it. A lot of times people don't realize there's toxicities, can be a toxicity as well. You can overdose something. So, just like that, I'm just happy you're here to share that information, because honestly, I love that what you shared. And personally, for me, I'm thinking maybe I need to take CBD oil for me, and I should maybe get something for the dogs too.
I think we all do.
Right.
Well, a couple of things you said about, maybe I'll give my pet a little bit more. That's a huge thing that I learned with pets and with people. So all of our systems are different. So less sometimes is more for people. So, and sometimes more is less for people. So everybody needs different amounts. And that's why it's a trial and error type of thing. I might need personally, I might need a full dropper of this morning and night for me to sleep better, minimize my pain, and have less anxious feelings. You ladies might need a quarter of a dropper. We don't know, right? Your pet, so your pet, we always start with the guidelines of what we recommend, but everybody's different. So that's a trial and error. And so many times people we just think, oh, well, if I up the dose, it's going to improve. What happens actually is sometimes we clog remember I was talking about the Christmas tree lights? We clog those receptors. So then they don't get interacted with. And then it's like, boom, the whole light goes out. So nothing's working.
Right.
And so oftentimes, even if we're at a good place and we're feeling well, I'll recommend, take a little holiday, take a couple days off, reset your body, and then we're going to start again, because sometimes you can even lower your dose once your body gets acclimated or your pet's body gets acclimated. And so here's another thing that's really interesting, I think, about pets. So it's a little bit different with pets in that when you give them oils, it's almost like immediate results, like 15 to 20 minutes, a lot of times for anxiety, pain, sleep. A little bit different for people. So that's a different thing. Sometimes it takes a little longer to build up in your system because of all of the years that we've maybe depleted ourselves of sleep. Like we've done a lot to our body over all the years. Now it takes a little bit of time to get it back in order and get it back balanced. But for animals, it seems that for that anxiety and the anxious feelings, it seems to work really quickly to use an oil. For pain, it will take them a little longer for their mobility. It'll take longer to see that because that's just building up in their system for kind of a long-term thing that's happened to their bodies over the years. And the other thing is that like pet treats, those, they don't absorb as quickly. So they take a little bit longer to work as well. So with an oil, it'll be like 15 to 20 minutes typically. And with the treats, it might be like 40 minutes to 2 hours. So there's a couple things like think about if you're flying your pet and timing that, to get them calm is when do you want to time that oil or that treat? Like, what do you want to do? If you have a really long flight, maybe you do consider doing a treat because it lasts a little bit longer versus an oil. So there's different things to look at as well.
Well, tell us about the different products then, as far as Global Compass, Green Compass Global. As far as the products, do we have oils? Do we have treats?
We do. We have pet treats. I don't have any with me actually. So we have pet treats, and then we have 2 size oils. We have a 250 milligram oil typically, and you can adjust the dosing, but I always have that for the small dog. And then our 500 milligram oil, which is our favorite because it's bacon flavored. That one's a great one.
Bacon.
Yeah, it's bacon flavored. And literally my lab, we have rescue labs. They literally run to the dropper. I don't have to put in their food, and they just right out of the dropper.
We'll take it straight.
Yeah, they do. They're like, straight out, Mama. I just want it straight up.
Another question for our resident feline owner here, for Greta. She has two kitties at home. What about cats? Do you have something for cats?
They're equal. You can use both for dogs and cats. Oh, and I just talk about dogs so much because I have dogs, but yes. So dogs and cats. And we actually started to put on our marketing because we kind of didn't put cats on. And then we started to put cats on our marketing. We're like, we are leaving out these beautiful felines. So yes, so they can be used for cats too, the oils and the treats.
I wonder, see, now it makes me think about other pets in households. What about maybe if I had a parrot? Because parrots, there's certain types of parrots that actually will pull their feathers. I mean, beautiful Amazon parrots and stuff. They'll pull their feathers out and everything for anxiety and stress. I wonder about something like this to kind of calm down, mellow out, and, everything. Yeah.
I mean, I haven't heard of it, but I wouldn't think that it would hurt.
There's not much studies on them, but they recognize the condition in them. But I wonder if there's something to remedy, because again, it's stress related. Got to calm them down somehow to get them comfortable.
Maybe put it in the water.
Yeah, but like I said, it's just something as far as research, future thoughts.
Yeah.
So I got a question. I'm curious if there's a similarity. So catnip is the weed for cats, and so I'm wondering if does it have CBD in it, or is it related to the plant that you're talking about here? I'm wondering if
it's weed for cats, I bet it's hemp. I'm not familiar with it. I'm so sorry. But I can do
real quick.
Do some research.
So catnip is all natural plant that grows, and they can eat it. They can smell it.
They love it. They love it.
Yeah, but if you put it on the floor, they roll around in it. It makes them go crazy. And then after they get through the craziness, they're like, So, um,
No doubt.
but so, so I was wondering, does it have that in there? Is it related to it? I was wondering because, so there is, gosh, they there's a so I know, and you can get there's all kinds of catnip products, and if it's old, it's less potent, but it still will do the job. And then with catnip, if you just rub it, that'll reactivate its I guess whatever properties it has that drives the cats crazy. But fresh catnip is always the best. And then you can find it in some food. You can find it in toys. You can find it in, let's see, actually, just the powder. It's not a powder. It's shredded up leaves. So sometimes people will pour that in the food, or they'll. What I used to do is pour it on the ground so the kids can roll in it. But that's just me. But I just was wondering if it was related to CBD.
I don't know.
Yeah, I looked up real quickly. Catnip says it's a Nepeta Cataria and it's related to the mint family. So I don't know where hemp falls in it, but it's related to the mint family.
Family. So it's interesting. So it's all plants, right?
It's all plant.
Yeah, and so it's probably not related to CBD, but there's some calming property in that. And that's what's really fascinating. Our company's actually going to go outside, like we're harnessing everything in the hemp plant, but we're actually going to reach into other plants moving forward in the next couple of years because there's so much to offer. And that's really interesting so it's probably nothing to do with the hemp plant, but they're tapping into another plant to get that great experience for your cats. I've never heard of that. I don't have cats. I've never heard of that. That's interesting.
No, I've never heard. I don't know if it even has an effect on dogs, but from house cats to even wild cats, it does the same thing. Because I went to a cat reserve in Florida, and I got to be I forget what they called it, animal keeper for the day. So it's a program you can pay for, and I love animals. So I got to feed all the wild cats and give them drinks and all that good stuff, and help tidy up their cages. And they taught me to make treats, and so it was really cool. But inside this brown paper bag, I was putting all these different spices, and that was one treat. And then the other treat was putting fresh catnip inside the paper bag. And we got to throw them in the cage, and the lions and tigers, they just went nuts, just, rolling in it. And then they lay on their back and spread their legs. And the same thing my cats do. So they really, really enjoy spices. So, and
that's
catnip.
Fascinating. Like in the soup, that's so neat.
Yeah.
Oh. Interesting.
Yeah.
I'd like to go to that animal camp that you went to. That sounds fun.
Oh, it was. I've always been like, I know I should never own a lion or a tiger. I know, Dr. Bryant.
Yeah.
But I really would like to own my own lion and tiger. So, so it was a day to fulfill my fantasy. So, but yes, so I'll definitely give you the name and number to it.
For sure. That's very interesting. But yeah, it's amazing what plants can do, right?
Yeah. Definitely.
Like we were created to live off the earth, and so now it's so cool to see, like with the catnip and just all of the things that are out there to help our bodies kind of balance and do what they were created to do. So it's great. So is there anything else? I of course feel like I've been talking this whole time. So are there any other questions?
As you should be.
Yeah, you're educating us, because honestly, I don't think I've never heard of anyone go into great detail as far as CBD and all what it's all about. So I love it. I love it. I love the education for us, and I love the education for the animals too. I think the question that we answered is perfect as far as potentially for people using it in their pets. I think we touched on some great key points for our pet owners to understand and know about the product and everything. I really think they need to go to Green Compass Global and order it from there instead of buying some generic thing off the commercial market inside your PetSmart or Petco's or whatever, because at least they know through you guys you're getting legitimate CBD that's meant for that animal. So I love it.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you. I mean, it's an honor to be here. Go ahead, Greta.
I do have a question. I apologize. I guess I wanted to give you a chance to talk more about your educational site. So when people start ordering from you, were you mentioning that there is a site, I guess maybe a members only portal where people can go and ask questions? Do you have that kind of thing? Or if they want to learn something, do people who are customers have a chance to more interact with you?
Yeah, so there's several different ways, and that's a great question. So I work with people one-on-one. So even if I've never met them and they order that, that comes into my business center, and I immediately contact people so I can help them. But anyone can reach out to me on social media. So we always walk hand in hand with people, however much they want us to. We do have a Facebook group where people can look at testimonials. We also have, I have my personal Instagram page and LinkedIn and all that, but we also have a kind of an educational LinkedIn page and Facebook group that we mirror. So people can follow or go in and ask questions. And a lot of it is just, it's all, we really just focus in on education. So I can get people plugged into those other groups as well. And I can share those as well with you, because we just really want to make sure that people are informed. And like I said at the beginning, I really appreciate the endorsement to come to Green Compass. But I do believe that, if for some reason someone doesn't, at least if they have the information, then they're serving their pet and themselves the best way that they can. But yeah, so I'm so grateful, and I will follow up with some of these things that we talked about and send those out to you. And anyone who does come to my site, they get $10 off their first order, so that's another bonus. Mm-hmm. But I'm just really grateful for this opportunity to share, because this is really what I'm on mission to do, and awesome. Just thank you for the opportunity and the platform to do so.
I love it. Like I said, I love the education. That's perfect. This is what we need. Yeah. Because again, as we said, there CBD shops are popping up all over town. Inside the pet stores, you're seeing all these CBD products, and you want to do the right thing for your pet. You want it to be quality product for it and everything for us all. If not, it's kind of waste. It's a waste if not, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, is that I will hear from people, it didn't work for me or it didn't work for my pet. And then that's where I do kind of what you did with that question, Dr. Wright. I start asking the questions and saying, well, you know what? If you're open to it, give ours a try. We've got a 30-day money-back guarantee. Yes. I will coach you through your first month. And at day 30, if your bottle's empty or for you or your pet and you're not happy, it's a no-hassle money back. It's easy. That's nice. So that makes me feel good as well, that we stand behind that. And we're like, what, we'll take everyone through their journey. And if they want to, if they feel like they want their money back, and I think I've had in 5 years, 2 people ask for their money back. But I always offer that. And I think that that's really important as well. But that's it. That's all I have.
You are outstanding.
Fun. No, you two are outstanding. So thank you so much. You ended my week on this Friday on a high note, and to get to do what I love to do the most, talk about dogs and
cats. That's awesome. Oh, well, I love this conversation, and it flew by. I told you it would fly right by. But it was definitely a great conversation. I love how you're so personable. I love the fact, and I don't know if people picked up on this, is that you are from the pharmaceutical industry, and that credibility and not, I guess, a peace of mind that you know the chemistry behind everything, and that you are relatable enough to share good information with any pet parent. I think that is vital, and that this company should be very, very happy that they have you, because that's a crucial element
Yeah.
that a lot of companies won't have. And so, as a pet parent, it makes me feel at ease that I can talk to someone who has the credibility behind them, to trust the product that they are suggesting. And not only that, with the money back guarantee and the $10 off and all this other stuff, it almost makes it a no-brainer to at least try it. And I'm assuming, because it seems like you're a personable person, I'm assuming once a customer comes in, you make yourself available for their journey. So, I think that this is a terrific company, and you're a great person, and I think that they are very lucky to have you. And I think that everybody that is watching should, and is interested in this, should reach out to you and give this stuff a try. And we will put you on When Pets Fly as one of Dr. Bryant's favorite things. And,
Yep.
that's
I'm gonna
one of
try it
our,
too. Seriously, I'm
yeah.
trying it.
And
I need
she'll
it.
do a
My
testimonial
dog,
for you.
I have 2 dogs now. Both of them need it, and I need it too. So yeah, I'm gonna get
I
it.
might cry, you ladies. They're so sweet.
Yeah, no, seriously, seriously, I love it. Well, Laura, thank you
Yeah.
so much. We are, like I said, time has gone really fast. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for the education, because again, we don't get that. And the way you shared it is perfect. It makes it, you made a complicated topic very easy to understand. Love it.
Yeah.
That's the way it needs to be. That's an indicator of how well you know your topic. I love it. So
Yeah.
that's really good. Really, really good.
Thank you so
Absolutely.
much. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome. And if you ever want to come back, especially if you got new products coming on, just let us know, and we can set this up again. And because again, it's not a once and done thing. It's about repetition and education.
About this.
And that's how everybody will learn.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe we could do a testimonial day where we have
Ah.
parents come in and give their experiences.
Mm-hmm.
This is true.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think Dr. Bryant and her dogs should be the first one up there.
Right. Thank you. Thank
She
you,
can
Laura.
talk about the people.
Yeah. I need to try it. And I may even also recommend, I've got family members that kind of we just all need to relax a little bit more, something to help us. I think that might be society wide.
I was just going to say that. I don't know no one that just is, I think we were all trained to be that way. So wound up,
Mhm.
and I think this is just going on a tangent for a second. I think the more the world had become technology focused, so that we could be more efficient, and work harder, faster, smarter. Everybody just got trained in going so fast and so hard that when you're not working, we're still like this, and it's like, how do I slow down?
Right.
Nobody knows how to get off the hamster wheel.
And our bodies weren't created to keep up that capacity. Like, like we weren't made to be at this pace. So no wonder we're all like, oh, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Love it.
Oh, great. Well, unless you have anything else you'd like to say, Miss Laura.
Yes, Laura, I'm perfect too. Anything else further, Laura, for us?
No, just thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much. And I would love to come back, and I'll think of something creative that we can do. We can still educate, but we can bring in some other things. So I like to think of different things to do. So
I love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Well, that is all from me, as well as Dr. Bryant. And somebody's trying to call me while I'm on a live. But I'm sorry. I hung up on him once. Why are you calling back?
Right.
I digress. I'm sorry. So that's it for me. And I hope you all have a fantastic day. And we look forward to seeing you.
Yep. Hold on, Laura. We're going to close off. Just hold on. Okay.
Oh, okay. I was saying goodbye to everybody else.
Yeah. Bye.
Okay. Bye. Let's see. I push end stream. Okay. Is it off yet?